Right, so I have a few case studies to share with you just because these are things that have happened. They've not got names in, it's fine. They're very vague case studies. Josh is in all of them. No, he's not. So, taking a block booking contract without finding cover for any contractor gigs you may already have in. So obviously, block booking stuff is great to have in, especially like international ones where they come in, they're often going to be like a month or a couple of months at a time. And obviously you're very likely to have had something or a few odd things booked in there, and it's daft to turn international stuff down. But if you haven't found like any form of cover for this, it's just not on, really. But yeah, we had someone drop out of a contracted bonfire booking 2 days before the event was going to happen. And obviously bonfire weekend, busiest weekend of the year as fire performers, and we get booked out for that from very early on in the year. So to drop out 2 days before, because they'd taken a contract without finding any cover, I was beyond mad, and that was my one evening off that whole week from not gigging, and I had to spend it sorting out this issue because of this performer, which I was really unhappy about, and it was a long-term client of ours as well. So obviously our clients that we've spent years building up relationships with too. So you might only be doing that gig for the first time, but that might be one that we've had for 5 years. So it's that kind of thing. But yeah, we didn't use this person again for nearly 2 years after that because I wasn't willing to take the risk on it. And they spent a really, really long time making it up to us, which I then really, because I'm all up for like second chances and stuff. And they tried so hard to make it up. They helped us move unit and they helped us do all of this stuff. And we're constantly like, oh, I'm really sorry, can we do this thing? And I was like, okay, I'll give you another chance. And they've been great since then. And again, kind of new to the business. And this is all the stuff that we're hoping this course will help like weed out. Because a lot of people don't really think about this or know they shouldn't do it. So the whole point of all of this is, I think, to kind of just make sure we all kind of know these things. So she didn't know about that, and now she does, and she's sorry about it. So there's definitely ways past it. But that was one of those that happened. Case study number 2 of double booking, we lost an entire year-long contract because the performer double booked themselves. And that has one of the things that most annoyed me ever. This was an international one in Oman. They wanted entertainment every weekend for a year, and we'd done about a month's worth of stuff. They particularly really wanted this act. They told me they were free. It went to contract, and they were like, oh no, sorry, I forgot, I'd taken another one. And despite the fact I managed to find an act that was very similar, the client wasn't happy about it, and then we lost out. They never came back to us again. So we lost out on a whole year's worth of entertainment in this place. It was in Oman. You did one for us.
I know exactly.
Yes, exactly. So we have never, ever used this performer again, and I'm not planning on it. And they do suck up quite a bit, sending me messages going, oh, I'm free if we need someone. And it's just like, no, because you lost us thousands of pounds because of this. So not cool. So again, double booking, it's not like you don't know that one event, what it might affect in the long run. So yeah, double booking is super easy to avoid. Just keep a good booking system. So diaries, you have some performers and they constantly do it where it's like, oh, I'm free that weekend. And it's like, no, you're not. You're on a gig for me. Am I? Yeah, here's the contract you've replied back to you saying accepted. And they're like, oh shit. It's like, if I hadn't checked, would you have turned up? No. But it is easy to avoid. Keep a good system for all this kind of stuff. But yeah, word will spread, and agents, we don't like, I don't know, if someone really annoys us, we do talk to each other about it. So that will be a thing. Agent loyalty, check your contract terms and conditions. Sometimes it's worth sticking to contracts even after they're technically void or outside their timeframes. Again, this is a bit down to personal stuff, but we find this is really beneficial. So this is a Bob Chadder, who's just a guy that came to try and book stuff. We did an event through him, through an agent, and he tried to come to us directly, and technically it was outside of our contract terms and conditions, but I still passed it back to the agent anyway, because that agent meant a lot to me, and getting one booking direct is not worth it in the long run when you think about the fact you could have a lifetime of bookings with this agent. We have a really good relationship with him. So the fact that even after the 12 months, I called him up and was like, oh, this guy, he's tried to book, it came through you, so I know it's outside, but technically it should go back through you. And he was super grateful for it because the guy had been dicking him around a little bit. So the fact that he'd also then tried to come direct to us, it keeps them in the loop, like what's going on. But yeah, we always pass booking back to clients or agents if they try and get in touch with us directly, and it's one of the best ways of showing loyalty to an agent. It happens time and time again, because obviously you're given each other's numbers when it comes to the day, and that means that client is left with your direct contact number. So if you've been there still walking, they would very highly try and call you directly after that event to try and book you back for the next year. And it's just not okay, because obviously they wouldn't have known about you if the agent hadn't put you on that gig. So it's not fair for them to be able to go to you directly after that. They would never have known that you existed. But yeah, that's just a thing to keep a mind of. We actually keep, again, another whiteboard that has lists of names of people that have tried to get back in touch with us directly, just so that we know. But it's often worth, like, if you're on the phone, or like try not to quote for things over the phone, so you've got time to, like, I normally, if we get a direct phone call at someone that I don't know before, they've said, oh, we've booked you before, I'll always like Google the name or search it in our emails quickly and see what comes up, because a lot of the time it will be through an agent, and it's like, oh, sorry, I'll pass you on to so-and-so. And it really, we love it when people get passed back to us. Also, it means that we know you're doing a good job. If they want to book you back, great. So if you go, they want to book you back, pass it back to you, you're going to get the gig still, and you look great to us. So that's a good thing to do. And case study 4 for agent loyalty. Whether you've worked with someone once or 100 times before, it really pays to be loyal. So we had one of the most ridiculous gigs I've ever worked at Blenheim Palace for a wedding. They flew in via individual helicopters, because that's what you do, got into a horse-drawn carriage to arrive into the courtyard, paraded around there a little bit with a live band, and then they weren't happy with their wedding photos. Found this out like a month later. They weren't happy with their photos. They rebooked Blenheim Palace a month later to go back just to do their photos again, because they weren't perfectly happy with them. Yeah, anyway, so this guy, we'd basically gone to contract with through this agent. No, never worked with her before, but she'd been very nice. And we were just waiting for the contract to come through. And then I had a phone call from the groom trying to book us directly. And I was like, oh, well, you know, I'm basically confirmed through this agent. And he was like, yeah, no, but I want to go direct. And I was just like, well, I can't, because we're about to go to contract, so sorry. So we got booked through the agent, all fine. And I called her to let her know that the groom had got in touch with me directly. And she basically burst out into tears on the phone to me, because he'd gone to almost all of the people that she'd recommended directly. And she'd been planning this wedding for over a year for them. And he'd basically gone to her and gone, budget is no issue. I want the best of everything. I'm booking Blenheim Palace, for God's sake. Like, I want all these things. So she supplied all these things, and then he went and picked them off one by one and tried to book them directly. Which is, yes. So she was so upset about it, but because the florist as well, I had gone direct, and it's like, it's not like she's not going to find out, she's going to be at the event. But anyway, she was so grateful for me for calling her back and letting her know that it happened. So there's like a massive hamper in the post that was like full of goodies, and we get loads of work from her now. We'd never worked for her before, so I could have very easily just gone, oh, okay, yeah, we'll do it direct and it's a bit more money, but we've now had 2 years of work from this person because of it. So it does kind of pay to kind of pass things back, because you never know the full story. The amount of times you pass things back and then you find out all these little like nuggets of information, and you're like, oh, right, okay, that's how it is. So yeah, standard agent requests. Don't go direct to clients after the booking. Don't double book yourself. Keep interests at heart as much as they do for you. As I say, two-way, should be looking out for each other. Don't be a diva. If you're difficult to work with, we just won't work with you. We had a performer ring me up on bonfire night because they were upset that they'd got cold and muddy. And I was like, what do you want me to do about this? It's bonfire night, like it's November and it's an outdoor fire show. And we even emailed saying, go warm. So yeah, people like that, and we've had a few from this person where it's like, oh, I can't possibly do like this amount of time, even though it's like 5 minutes more or whatever. Or yeah, there's things like that when it's just like, yes, I'm also outside in the rain getting wet on bonfire night, because that's what happens in this country. So yeah, just try not to be a diva, basically.